Welcome back, my fellow game developers. In this video we are going to be adding an attack to the enemy. Now usually in my introductions I start off by showing you what we did, but because it's so fun in this video I'm actually going to keep it as a surprise until you get to the end. With that said, let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so right now our enemy simply follows our player and he guards the world around him. What we want is we want the enemy to actually start attacking when he gets to a certain range from our player after chasing him for a little bit. So let's go into our code, and in here we are going to create a couple of variables. So first of all, we'll call this the attacking, and in here we'll create a public float attack range, and we'll also create a private boolean to make sure that the player in attack range. Okay, great. With that done, it's time for your challenge. So yes, as soon as we start the video you have a challenge. So check if the player is in attack range and then create 3 statements to check for the enemy AI inside the update to be either guarding, chasing, or attacking. Pause the video right now and go ahead and do all of that. Okay, welcome back. So how did you get on with that? We already did all of this. So player right now needs to be in the attack range, and we'll create a physics.checkSphere, and now the transform.position of the enemy will stay the center, of course. The attack range will be the radius. And what is player? So what is the player? What is love? And next thing we're going to do is we'll actually change here a couple of things. So first of all, we're going to check in here if we are not in the chase range and we are not in the attack range. What? We are not in the player attack range, then we will start guarding. But if we are in chase range and we're not in the player attack range, then we will start chasing the player. And actually I think we don't even need this else right here because we are being meticulous with our conditions. Let's add a bit of space in here. And finally, if we are in the player chase range and and we are in the player attack range, then we are going to be attacking player. Okay, so hope you got all of this. Sorry for the blind eye, I didn't tell you that we'll need to remove the else. You can keep it, you can create different types. If it's working, then it's good. You don't have to make it exactly as I do. So now let's go ahead and create the attack method. So we'll generate the method of attacking a player. And in here we are going to, first of all, I want to move it. So let's move it under the search for destination. So we're guarding, chasing, and then okay, so attacking in here. Let's add a space, and we're simply going to, first of all, we're going to get our agent, and we're going to set the destination as the transform.position. And what this does is it actually stops the player, or I mean the agent, which is the enemy, in its tracks, and then we will be able to start firing the projectile that we'll create. And one more thing we'll need to do is we'll need to actually take the transform, and we're going to look at the player. So we want to be able to look at the player when we want to start attacking him. That's obvious. Next thing we want to do is we want to create some kind of projectile to attack our player with. We'll have different types of attack, but right now we are going to create some kind of projectile, or maybe a grenade of some sorts, that will be fired from our enemy and hit the player and crush his head. So let's go ahead and do that. So back in our game, let's go ahead and create an empty game object and let's reset its position so we can see it in here. And we're going to call this the grenade, and we're going to create a 3D object which is a sphere as its child. And we're also going to create a material in here that we are going to duplicate from the bullet material. We'll add it to the child or the sphere right here. We'll call this the maybe enemy bullet material. Yeah, sure, why not? So enemy bullet material, and let's just change the color to maybe blue, and let's make this also blue. Okay, so now we have this blue orb firing at our player, and we're going to actually go ahead and remove the sphere collider from here. Can we add it immediately? Nope. Let's remove the sphere collider from here, and let's add it to the grenade and the parent. So this will help us have a better control of our game object. So now we have the sphere. It's exactly the same. It takes the shape immediately, but it's on the parent. We also want to add a rigid body. So now it will be affected by gravity, but not only that, we'll be able to add forces to it. And what else we want to do is we actually want to go ahead and create a trail for this grenade. Yes, it's going to be very cool. So before we do that, let's go into our prefabs and our bullets. Let's go ahead and prefab this grenade bullet. So in the grenade, let's go ahead and add a component, and let's add a trail renderer. So double click on the grenade, and in here we can actually change the material. So we'll choose to have it, oops, nope. This is a material, so this is the enemy bullet material, and now when we move you can see that we create a trail behind us, and we can do a lot of things. So I recommend you take your time and play around with all of these options and see which one you like the most. So first of all, we will reduce the time. So let's see, 0.62. There are a lot of things that we can tweak around in here, so we can maybe make this a bit smaller. Actually, you know what? Let me open this up on its own so we can play around and see it. And the way we do that, let's save that and double click. Where is the prefab bullets? So double click on the grenade, and now we'll play around with it in here on our own. Oh, we didn't apply it, so sorry for that. Apply that, and now we have a trail renderer. So now we can adjust in here, so we can make this smaller, and let's increase the time. So let's make it 5, keep it at 5 so it doesn't go out immediately. So now we can create this trail right here. We can adjust it, so we can double click in here and maybe make it smaller as it goes. And let's just create this trail again. So now you can see that we have this nice looking effect. And maybe make it a bit smaller. We can even adjust the way it goes up and down. So as you can see, we are creating this trail, which is looking really nice. We'll not have it as 5 seconds, so let's keep it at 1 second. So this is it, for example, and it's not going away as soon as we want. And what else should we be changing in here? So I think this is it. So we just want to adjust the width, and we want to adjust the time. So this is our bullet as it moves, and no, I think the trail is a bit long. Of course, we'll be changing it later on as we start throwing them. But yep, so we shoot the bullet, and there it goes. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, maybe even less is better. Okay, great. So this is our bullet. This is the enemy's bullet, the enemy's grenade, if you will. And next thing we're going to do is we'll go to the smart enemy script, and in the attack player, we'll want to actually instantiate when we are in the range. So when we want to be attacking, we want to go ahead and instantiate so we didn't get a reference. So let's go ahead and create a reference in here. So this is going to be a public game object, and it's going to be the attack projectile. that how we write projectile? So attack projectile, and down here we're going to get the projectile. So attack projectile, it's going to be on the transform dot position, and the rotation will be the quaternion dot identity. And we'll use this quaternion dot identity because we are already looking at the player. So now let's save that, and let's also visualize this. So down here on the onDraw gizmo select, we're going to choose the gizmos dot color to be equal to color dot red. I think, yes, red is a good indication of attacking. So gizmos, let me copy this, it's the same, so copy this, paste it in here. Okay, so this is in here is attack range. Now, where is it? So change range, attack range, it's negative. So now this will be the attack range. So let's test this out. We hit play, we get close to the enemy, he goes towards us and then he stops. So when we go to the scene, you can see that he stops as soon as the player enters the attack range. And which also the problem is we haven't assigned anything. Yes, so but back in the player in here, the attack projectile, and we go and give it the grenade. Okay, so let's save that. Let's remove the grenade. Did we apply all of the changes? Yes. So let's remove the grenade from our scene. Save that, hit play. And now, I don't think this will be visible. Okay. So obviously, are you okay? Oh my god, so I think my game is about to crash. So as you can see, it has a bit of trails. Maybe we can change it. Whoa, seriously, come on, look, we can even walk on them. How cool is that? And everything is falling down. So with that done, in the next video, we are actually going to adjust these projectiles and maybe stop all this weird movement. So obviously we need to adjust the direction and we need to add some kind of force. I don't know, so I was not expecting this, honestly. When I tried it on my own, it wasn't that cool. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video.